Mike and Mike on a Football Friday, ESPN Radio, and live on your TV on ESPN2, presented by Progressive Insurance. We're live in Chicago this morning at the House of Blues, one of the big games on the schedule this weekend, of course. Packers at the Bears, teams that have been playing each other forever and met last year in the NFC Championship game, Mike. And we sometimes talk about rivalries not being what they used to be. I mean, there's a lot of history in rivalries. But, you know, in order for there to be a real rivalry in the present day, you have to be playing meaningful games.
Exactly.
So to see the Bears and Packers playing in the NFC Championship game last year was special.
I absolutely agree. You know, and you'd love to rekindle some of that. It's never going to get to what it was. It's just not in today's game. But you like to get it close. You know, you look at Pittsburgh and Baltimore. There seems to be some genuine dislike out there, you know, in trying to smash one another. And you kind of dig that. So, you know, you'd like to get that with others as well. This has been such a great rivalry for so long. And now that both these teams are usually fighting for the division, or certainly were last year, you got to dig it.
And a guy who's played in a whole lot of those games is Donald Driver, who joins us here on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline. And, you know, if you look back at the storied history of the Green Bay Packers, from Don Hudson to Sterling Sharp and so many others, they've had a lot of great receivers. But Donald Driver is the all-time leading receiver in yards in Packers history, breaking that record this year. Donald, welcome back. How are you this morning?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Well, good to talk to you, and it is the first time we've had a chance to talk to you on the air since your team won the Super Bowl, and there was so much emotion in that for you. Watching you there was really exciting, and so I would ask you, how was that experience for you? You're a guy who's been around the league for so long. You've talked so much about what football means to you. How much has it changed you and the way you feel about yourself, your career in the NFL, having finally gotten over that hump?
I think you finally reaches, you know, the ultimate of, you know, that greatest milestone that an NFL player can reach. It's something you dream about for a long time as a kid. And, you know, as you get older and older, you know, you just want to get to that point where maybe one day you can get to the greatest game in sports, and that's the Super Bowl. And for me to get there, you know, 13 years in the National Football League and finally reach that milestone is something that's truly a blessing to me as well.
It certainly is, and I'm sure you're trying to get a little more hardware on your ring as you guys try to defend your title. And now against the Bears, we were talking about rivalries. We had Mike Dick on a little earlier. He went back and talked about the rivalry of the Bears and the Packers. Just how intense is it in today's game, the rivalry of these two teams on the field?
Yeah, you know, this goes back a long, long time, way before me. You know, and you think about this team has, you know, these two teams have played together, played against each other for 183 games, straight games, the most in the National Football League. So, you know, for me, you know, somebody was making a joke yesterday saying I played in 103 of those because how old I am. But I told them that's not the truth, you know. But, you know, it's just the rival between the two teams. I mean, you know, the fans, the players, you know, they just go at one another. I mean, it's a full-out brawl. And then, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you can walk away knowing that, you know, the best team was on top.
Micah, Donald Driver, you probably know the Bears' defense as well as anybody does. What makes them good?
They're good. You know, they're a very aggressive team. They're going to always go after the ball. You know, it's one thing about them. They never stop coming after you. You know, regardless of how many points they get down or how much they're up, they're going to continue to attack you. They're aggressive. Their main focus is trying to get takeaways. You know, if they can get the ball out your hand, that gives them opportunity to win the game. So that's kind of our mindset this week, is to make sure that we win the takeaway battle.
Also, how do you come out in the game? And I know this is a later game. Last week, Aaron Rodgers talked about how you guys came out a little slow against Carolina, found yourself behind them 10-0. Was that talked about as far as how to start a game a little quicker?
Well, you know, that's our thing. You know, we say every game we go into, we want to start fast. We want to jump on teams early and not get behind. But, you know, one thing about this is when you go into a game, you have three things to make a champion. You know, you have to have that motivation, the dedication, and the teamwork. And you go into that Carolina game, we need all three of those to come back and win that game. And it took everything in our power, you know, to win that game. You face adversity throughout the game. You don't start fast. You have penalties here and there. That cost. And we decided that we had to correct it. We made our mistakes. We fixed them, and we said to pull that game out.
Mike Donald Driver is with us. Aaron Rodgers has thrown for 620 yards in the team's first 2 games, which sounds like a lot, but frankly, when you look at what guys like Brady and Newton and Rivers are doing, it actually is not anywhere near the tops in the league. Let's go to some of the big questions around the league right now. Donald, people were watching on Monday Night Football when several of the New York Giants defenders appeared to be faking an injury in order to try and slow down or hurry up offense. You've been playing a long time. Do you see that out there sometimes against you guys? And if you do, what do you guys do when you think players are down there and they may not really be hurt?
I saw that on ESPN, and I just started laughing. It's crazy that guys would do that, but I think you get to a point you see it, a guy's not injured because he didn't get hit or anything else like that. But it is crazy just for players to go out and fake an injury, knowing that a team has the momentum and the team is driving the ball down and trying to score.
Yeah, but if you were on the defensive side of the ball, you'd do it, wouldn't you? Listen, those guys are tired and they need a little break.
I don't know. I've seen guys, get to the point where they hurt, and I've seen their coaches on the sideline telling them to get down, to make sure that they don't lose the timeout. I've seen that, but as far as guys just faking injuries, I've never seen that.
And plus, it's smart to fake the right injury. Don't hurt your one knee and then grab the other knee when you go down. You kind of lose credibility that way.
Y'all leave D-Grant alone, man. He did whatever he had to do. That's what he did.
I've heard a lot of people say that. Donald Driver, the other question is, there's a lot of high-profile injuries in the NFL this week, none more so than Tony Romo with his ribs. And you hear defensive players talking about how if they know a guy has an injury on the offensive side, they'll go after that. You're an offensive player. You've certainly played with your share of injuries over the years. Is that your expectation, that if the defense knows you've got an injury someplace, are you expecting them to go after you there?
I think a little bit of it, but I think more of for me, it's just a mind game. If they tell you that they're going to go after your injury, then every time when you get ready to play those guys have got in your head. So now you're not playing the way you really want to play the game. You're out there worried about what they're going to do to you instead of what you can do to them. So I think that's where sometimes guys, get into the aspect that they think that that's what the player is going after, but it's really not. They're just trying to play a mind game, which is just trying to flip it back and forth. And I think, you just got to go out there and say, hey, something, you come after me the way you want to come after me, but I'm going to come after you guys the same way I've always came after you.
So in this game, again, one of the later games on Sunday, you're coming here to play Chicago. When you go on the field and you get booed the way you get booed, especially in a rivalry game, what does that do for a player?
It's just motivation. It's just one of those things that motivates you to go out there. Because once you can, you go out there and you have a big game and you play well as a team, then the crowd is not booing anymore. You always get to a point where you want to shut the crowd completely out of the game and take the momentum to your side. And that's kind of where we want to be. We know that they're going to boo us. They're going to throw stuff at us as we're driving in. They're going to give us the finger, all that good stuff. But that's the fan favorite. That's the rival between the Packers and the Bears.
He's fun to watch. Donald Driver. We'll see him here on Sunday. Always our pleasure, Donald. Thank you for the time. Good luck this weekend.
Hey, Mike, you guys be good, man.
Take care. Donald Driver, one of the really good guys, and obviously there's a room full of Bears fans, so they're not going to like him. But the truth is, if you knew Donald Driver, you'd like him. And he's one of those guys who's been around a long time. It was good to see him win. Obviously, the people in this room hate the Packers. They weren't rooting for them no matter what happened. But if you're someone who just appreciates football and you know what that guy's life story has been and everything else, he's one of the people you feel really good for. And he is their all-time leading receiver, which is remarkable.
For that franchise and what that franchise means, not only in football but all sports, to be the leader there is really incredible.
I think Don Hutson is considered to be the first great receiver in football history, so it goes all the way back to that, and none for more yards than him. Mike and Mike.